What's new in CloudBees CI 2.346.1.4? Are you new here? If you are, welcome. And if you are new here, you don't know who I am. My name is Darren Pope, and I'm a developer advocate for CloudBees. On June 22nd, 2022, CloudBees CI 2.346.1.4 was released. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the bug fixes and new features that were released. If you haven't taken a look at the What's New in Jenkins LTS 2.346.1 video that I did with Mark Waite, the link for that is down in the description. If you haven't taken a look at the CloudBees CI release notes before, let me show you how to do that. We're going to start at docs.cloudbees.com, hover over Documentation, go down to CloudBees CI, and then on the left nav, we're going to click on the Documentation dropdown and select Release Notes. One thing that you'll notice at the top of the release notes is this Important section. And I want to go ahead and call this out. If you skip versions when you upgrade, meaning I'm going from 2.192 to 2.346, that would be a very big jump, refer to the previous versions of the release notes for any relevant known issues or upgrade notes. Now, what that means is that you would need to take a look at every release note and upgrade note from wherever you're coming from to wherever you're going. There are also two links within this important section: the CloudBees supported platforms and the CloudBees maintenance lifecycle policies, that if you've never read those, you should go ahead and take a look at those before even taking a look at any of the other release notes. And here at the top of the release notes is the most recent release, again, 2.346.1.4. We have the traditional release notes, and we also have the modern cloud platforms release notes. Now, overall in this release, there were three main points that I want to talk about. First off, there's a new look and feel within CloudBees CI. This is just the beginning of it, and there's a lot more to come. Secondly, the Cask bundle validation continues to improve within this release. And finally, there is a new CLI available that you can use to validate a bundle without having to upload it to an operations center. So let's go ahead and take a look at the traditional release notes, and then we'll come over and take a look at the modern cloud platform release notes, calling out just the specific items that apply to that release. So we'll go ahead and click on Full Release Notes for traditional platforms. And at the very top, you'll notice a security advisory. If we go ahead and open that up in a new tab, what we're going to see is there was a security advisory issued on the same day when this release came out, and specifically for traditional installations that are using the CloudBees HA solution. Prior to this release, any of the traffic that were between nodes using JGroups, that was all unencrypted. From this point forward, all traffic between nodes that are part of the HA process are now encrypted. So if you are using CloudBees CI in HA mode, you'll need to go through these steps in the upgrade notes in order to make sure that your system continues working as expected. There are also a number of multiple cross-site scripting vulnerabilities that were fixed within the core of CloudBees CI. And then there were also lots of other fixes that were related to plugins and a few more that were related to the core. I'll let you take the time to go through and see if any of these changes apply to you. Let's go ahead and go back over to our release notes, and let's take a look at the new features. If we scroll down through this section of new features, every one of these items are related to configuration as code, or CASC. And we see this one with a new CLI command to validate a bundle on an instance. This is the one I spoke about earlier, to where we didn't need to be on the operations center. So again, all of the new features in this release are related to CASC. And under feature enhancements, again, a number of these are all related to CASC. But there is one item that I do want to go ahead and call out. Here at the bottom of the list is a standardized way of how to configure no trigger branch property. Now, that sounds a little obscure. If you've ever set up a multi-branch project or one of the organization type projects like GitHub or Bitbucket, when you first set up that project, sometimes you run into a build storm. And what this feature does is it gives you the ability to either stay opted into those build storms, or if possible, you can eliminate those build storms. To understand more about how this works, you can refer to the documentation about branch property strategy objects. There are also a handful of items resolved, but I want to call out two specific ones. Both are around GitHub. First off, the GitHub org icon was broken. That's been resolved. And also, there was a change to the GitHub API with the Team API endpoints. Again, that had broken. That's now been fixed. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the known issues section. And what you'll see here is that jobs based on templates are not created using the correct template. Again, this is a known issue and will be fixed in an upcoming release. Also, the cask bundle synchronization step is going to be deprecated in February of 2023. What's going to be happening as you run your jobs, if you're using this step, what you're going to see is there will be a message about this step deprecation showing up anytime that step is being used. So if you don't see any kind of message in your job and you're not using that step, nothing to worry about. But if you do see it, then you're going to have to resolve that prior to that step being deprecated in February of 2023. For the upgrade notes, we've already talked about the JGroups HA network messages. That's something you have to do if and only if you're running CloudBees CI in HA mode. But there's an item here that I wanted to go ahead and call out and make sure you're aware of. Migration to Java 11 will soon be required for new releases. At the time of recording, right now you can run this version of CloudBees CI 2.346.1.4 using either Java 8 or using Java 11. However, in the next major LTS version, meaning not 346.2 or 346.3, but whatever the next big version is, and that's probably going to be around September of 2022, Java 11 will be required in order to run CloudBees CI traditional. So now is a good time. If you haven't upgraded yet your CloudBees CI Java process from Java 8 to Java 11, you should go ahead and do that. But that also means that all of your JVMs that are running your agent processes also have to be Java 11. If you have any questions about how to do that, open up a ticket with CloudBees support, and they can help evaluate what you may need to do for your environment. Let's go ahead and go back over to our modern release notes. If we take a look at these, there's only a handful of differences between traditional and modern for this release. Under feature enhancements, there is one feature enhancement for adding the controller name to an event failure handling. If an exception occurs when firing an event related to a controller, now that controller name is logged. And under our resolve section, we have a couple of items that are specific only to modern. First off, Operations Center administrators were not propagated as administrators to team controllers. If you are using team controllers, this would only apply to you. If you're using managed controllers within CloudBees CI for modern cloud platforms, it didn't affect you. This only affected team controllers. There were also fixes for inconsistent Ingress Nginx chart defaults. Those have been cleaned up. And finally, fix Operations Center root redirect when using subdomain true. Again, that's been fixed. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter @CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.